Hey everyone, welcome to A Loop Through a Loop. I'm Tara, I'm glad you're here. We're gonna catch up over some making that happened in October and November. It's not like life got really crazy and so I just needed some extra time before my next upload. It was me making a very conscious decision of just to wait. Keep things simple. So I'll start off with what I'm wearing. This is by Hohilo Catelli, and I think it's called Light as Air. It is an infinity scarf cowl, and it's knit. I knit mine in a DK non-superwash yarn that you can no longer get. So I'm not going to tell you any more details other than that. It is lace. It worked really nice for school drop-off. So that's what I'm wearing. Light as air. As far as things that I finished the past couple of months, I did get teacher's gifts. Teacher's gifts done. I decided to scrap the muscle burra idea and go with something different. So these are the Toast Mitts by Leslie Friend. So the teachers get them in their favorite colors. Obviously I have to sew in some ends, but I think what I'm gonna do is give them the mitts and then put in like a packet of hot chocolate and some flare pins. Teachers always like flare pins. Just some other little goodies. So that's my plan for now. For those, that was a very quick, easy knit. The next thing that I finished is another cowl. So hold on, let me get this off. Quick change. So here's the Light as Air all stretched out so you can see it. It is beautiful. The thing is that whenever I wear it, I fold it like this. So it's nice and smooth in the back and then the twist is in the front. So sometimes the lace pattern gets lost in there, but when it's cold outside, I really don't care. I just want to be warm. So the next thing that I was able to finish was a self-drafted cowl. And there we go. So this is just meant to be kind of cozy up around the neck. I had a mini skein set with 5 different colors, and I realized I just wanted a cowl, something that I could throw on super easy, that I could use this yarn for. And so it was 5 20-gram mini skeins. So I used up all of the mini skeins that I possibly could, and then I realized once I used up all that yarn, I was still short, and I needed the cowl to be a little bit longer to make up the difference so that it's not choking me. So it just so happened that I had some scrap yarn that color-wise, it's like they were made for each other, except these are by 2 different dyers. I believe the mini skein set, ooh, I'm having to do this off the top of my memory. Can I remember? Oh, it's like I can see it. I can't remember it. It's all on my Ravelry page. But what I did here is I did some eyelet borders just to, I don't know, make it interesting so it wasn't just all stockinette. So I could really wear this with this in the front, which is fine, and I could put the twist in the back, or with all of this noise going around my neck, it's probably making some weird microphone noises, so just bear with me. Or I can put the twist in the front. I mean, I could wear it however I want. And I did put the recipe that I used for this on Ravelry for free. because I wanted to. So you can find this free recipe on Ravelry under the name All American. And I just chose All American because of the red, white, and blue color scheme. It's just very Americana. So digging this. It is fingering weight on a US 3. So that's smaller needles than what some people are used to, and it is fingering weight yarn, which is what most mini skein sets I've seen come out as. So I would say this cowl took me, I don't know, a couple of weeks, and then I was done with it. I mean, you're basically working with, in total, about 140 grams of yarn. We'll just say 150 just to be safe. I mean, so that's what, a skein and a half of yarn? That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So I would say maybe 2 weeks. And then I was done with that. So there's that. And then after that, I just wanted to play around a little bit. So I knit a little handkerchief, which is just like a Jackie Rose's Soho Square. I didn't purchase the pattern only because I've knit the half and half wrap enough that I understood the construction and I understood how I wanted to choose my colors. And so there wasn't anything that was going to be in the pattern that I really needed to pay for, because I could kind of just figure it out on my own. I left the edges raw. I didn't do any I-cord. I already knew what my gauge was on the fingering weight in a US. I guess I should tell you what I used. I used a US 3, and this is all Holst super soft or coast. And honestly, yeah, super soft or coast. So it's fingering weight. I already knew what my gauge was in that yarn. And since I wanted this to be a handkerchief size, what I did is I went online, and I can't remember if I went on to Google or onto Amazon. I can't remember, but I ended up on Amazon. And all I wanted to do was just find a simple handkerchief, click on that item, and then scroll down to the dimensions. And it said that the standard handkerchief that I looked at was 20.5 inches. I was like, okay. So then I took my gauge per inch, times it by 20.5, and that's how many stitches I cast on. And then I know that Jackie talked about using the golden ratio. So I was like, what is this thing? I've never heard of the golden ratio. So I Googled it so I could just read about it. And I found a ratio calculator online. So I just typed my numbers in for inches. And then that's how I figured out the ratio of my colors. So it's not like I did the ratio math. The calculator I found online did the math for me. And so that's how I ended up with this. And really, I think my favorite way to wear it is kind of a Harlequin style like this. And then I would tie it around my neck like a handkerchief. I don't want to like mess up with my microphone sound, but kind of like almost kind of like a Boy Scout. Throw on my baseball cap and I'm good to go. Or depending on what I'm wearing, like if I have on this gray sweatshirt today, then maybe I just have the gray side out. If I have on some olive green, maybe I have the green side out. I don't know. It gives me versatility, and I always love a bright red and a pretty blue. So I just used what I had. This was out of scrap yarn. It was out of my stash, and so I just used one skein of each color. For the green and the gray, I tried to make sure that I had pretty much a whole skein, so I knew that I had enough. And then for the blue and the red, it was okay if it was partial skeins because I knew that I wouldn't have to use as much of those as the main colors. So that's what I did there. And those are all the things that I finished in the past 2 months. That's it, as far as I know. That was all. The last 2 months, as far as knitting is concerned, there's been a lot of knit and either frog or cut it and move on. So, point in case, I had signed up to do the Anuka vest, not vest, it's a tank, by Florence Sperling, and I gave it a really good go, but it was one where the pattern was beautiful. You know, there's nothing absolutely wrong with the pattern. The pattern was great. The problem was my color choices, and nothing was innately wrong with the colors other than I just didn't like them. And I just couldn't get through the mental block of picking out the 5 colors. And so I sent Florence an email, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to get this done. Like, I've tried this 5 or 6 times and I'm not getting anywhere because I absolutely do not like anything that I'm putting together right now. So whenever the pattern comes out, I will pay for it. And I am just so sorry, but I can't get this done. And she was very kind and very sweet about it. And so I bought the pattern, and I have it on like a back burner that maybe in the springtime I would like to go and revisit it, because I just can't do it right now. In fact, up here on this cork board up here in the back, I'm going to tilt my phone back just a little bit, or a lot of bit. Wow! Sorry. There, you can see. Can you see all of those swatches? 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't have the 5th one up there because I completely frogged that one. But those were like legitimate attempts. And it's stranded color work in Tarja on fingering weight. Just from those, what I call swatches, or just from those failed attempts, I could have easily gotten it done if I would have just stuck with what I originally planned. But that's a time intensive project. I want to absolutely love it. So I was just like, nope, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. I've got to make sure those colors are on point in order for me to go through with that project. And I just mentally could not get the colors how I liked them. It was all me. It was totally all me. So, and like I said, she was very kind and supportive about it. So after moving on from that, I decided to hit on my half wrap that I'd been working on pretty hard. Oh, and I'm in the middle of a row, but that's okay. So I was able to finish up the first half. So there's all my stripes there. And I have started on the second half, and I'm a few stripes deep. This is normally like some chill knitting. After my failed test knit, I just wanted something where I could just kind of go. I didn't want to have to look at charts. I didn't want to have to I kind of wanted just some freedom. I could take this knit wherever I wanted to go. I just kind of knew what I was doing. I wanted my brain to be able to go, my brain and my hands to go on autopilot. And so that's what I've done. My stripes are I cast on for like the larger size in the half and half wrap, triangles wrap pattern. And my stripes are approximately 4 inches wide. And what I wanted it to happen And since I'm in the middle of a row, I don't know how easy this is going to be to see, but picture, if you will, that, do you see how the stripes match up for the color? So like the teal lines up with the teal, the purple lines up with the purple. And what I wanted to do was kind of mimic what it's like when the sun comes in a window and you can see that there's just this line between the darkness and where the light gets in. And kind of reminded me of my cat when I was younger sunbathing. And so that is what I'm going for here. And it's quite large. It has gotten, it's a good size. And what I've noticed is that I really like using this almost kind of like a lap blanket. I made the smaller version of the half wrap in red and pink using linen quill in pink pop and red poppy, and it works perfect to keep in the car. And if the kids are cold, they can put it over their lap, or if I'm going to put it over my lap, it's really great. Like if we're walking into church, I can just grab it, hold on to William, and kind of wrap him around it like a blanket. So I'm excited to have this one that's going to be a bigger size. I'm super stoked about it. And the good thing is that I don't have, when I finish it, I don't have to block it right away if I don't want to. And then I can still use it and it'll look fantastic until I decide that I'm ready to block it. Okay, newest cast on is just a little bitty thing. I had gone to Hobby Lobby. They had a yarn on sale. So of course I looked and I was like, oh, what is this? And so this is Hobby Lobby's Thru Thick and Thin yarn. It's in the colorway lilac gray or gray lilac, something like that. And because it is on purpose thick and thin, can you see the thick and thinness of it? I don't know if you can. It automatically gives its own kind of texture. Okay, so I had started, my thought was I'd bought enough yarn, about 5 skeins, because I was like, well, I'll knit myself like a sweatshirty type sweater or tunic, you know, to wear around the house. And it was going okay. I could have pushed through and finished it, but I wasn't in love with it. And our 4-year-old said, Mommy, you're gonna make me a sweater? And I said, yes, I will. So I just ripped out. I was probably 2.5 skeins in, and I was like, taking it out. She wants a sweater, I'll make her a sweater. So that's what I've done. What I did is I'm self-drafting this based on a sweatshirt that she has. That's where I've got my measurements. And so I can show you what I jotted down on my fancy paper. Here's all my notes. This is how legit I am. So what I did is I took the measurements that I needed from her hoodie. I knew my gauge would be around 5 stitches per inch, and then used that from there. I don't know, like my brain just kind of does it, but I know that a lot of designers or knitters with experience will say, get out your favorite sweater and then measure it. But sometimes you're like, okay, well then what do I measure? So here's what I know. I know what I want to end up with. I want to end up with a raglan style sweater for her. So what are the measurements that I need for that? So I measured around the neck of her sweatshirt, so then I would know how many stitches to cast on. I measured the raglan depth. So that's not from the top of the shoulder to the underarm. That's from the underarm going straight to the neckline in the raglan diagonal. I wanted to know what's my body circumference, what's my body depth, what's the sleeve depth, and then I also did the cuff circumference. And one thing that I don't have that I need to add is I need to take the upper arm circumference, just so then I kind of have like a better idea. But experience tells me that by the time I get the depth that I need for the raglan, is that I should theoretically have however many stitches I need for the sleeve. I will cast on approximately 1 inch worth of stitches under the arms. So maybe about 5. I might even just do 4 stitches. She's on the smaller side. So I might do maybe 4 stitches under each underarm for the body. And then it really should be fine. I mean, she's 4 and it's a kid sweater. So it's not like this is super like technical or like fussy math or anything like that. I'm knitting it on size 5 needles, and I'm not changing needle sizes. Instead of doing ribbing, I'm just doing garter. I just decided what is the absolute easiest way for me to do this, because I wanted to see, can I make it work? That's my whole purpose in doing that. Can I make it work with just, instead of ribbing, do the garter? Because with it being a thick and thin yarn, I mean, I feel like the garter neckline looks nice. I think it looks nice. It'll fit over her head. And then for the raglan shaping, I'm not doing any make ones. I'm just doing yarn overs. So I have my stitch markers, and every other row I yarn over, and then I've got these nice little eyelet increases, and I like them. I think they look nice. So will it work out? I don't know, but I'll play around and see how it goes. And that's kind of all I've been up to. There are other things that I want to cast on, but I just got an email the other day for a test knit for Florence, and I said I would be interested in doing that. So I'm waiting to hear back from that. So that's a cast on. I have, since we last met, I have received and finished my first project from Pearl Soho to finish for them. And that's already done. I'm not allowed to say anything else about it other than I got one of my pieces for work finished. And I want to make sure that I leave enough room in my making that whenever they send me my next job, I am ready and open to accept that and get it done. So that's the thing. I'm in control of how many projects I cast on. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 projects that I already have in bags with patterns. Like I've already mentally assigned patterns to them. So I could just go ahead and cast something on if I wanted to, but I really just don't want to. I'm going to work on Claire's sweater. I should be able to get that done in, we'll say 2.5 weeks. It should be finished, if not sooner. And then I really want to keep making progress on this half wrap, because otherwise it'll just sit there and whatever. That's been going on. Not a whole lot. I've on purpose been keeping things very simple and working on how would I say that? Working on filtering what noise I let in. I guess that's how I would say it. Does that make sense? Like, I've been spending less time on social media, and if I am on my phone or online, or if I have the TV on, I've gotten better about paying attention to what's on and just kind of turning off things that are unnecessary. Does that make sense? Just because it makes me feel better. That's it. There's no virtual signaling. There's no wisdom in it. It's basically that it just makes me feel better. Like, I've got to take care of 4 kids. I'm supposed to keep up on the house, the laundry, the dishes, and all of this kind of stuff. And I just feel better if I pay attention to what I have on in the background or what I'm taking in for entertainment. So that's it. That's everything. I'm not gift knitting anything other than those mitts for teachers. I have just decided that if I want to gift knit, then I'm not necessarily going to tie it down to a specific holiday or date of celebration. It's just going to be like, hey, I made you something, and here it is. So that feels nice to not have any of that pressure, mostly because the kinds of things that I would want to make, I want to be able to enjoy the process of making them and not freak out and stress out about them. So I think that's everything. I've decided that I want to learn how to make bread, not like fancy, fartsy, artsy bread, just bread. Just figure out how yeast works. You know, I've tried to do sourdough. I was miserable at it. So I think maybe I'm just taking a step back. Right now I'm trying focaccia from the Magnolia 2 cookbook because that seemed doable. It seems easy. And so if you have any bread recipes or bread making cookbooks that I could check out, I'd be interested in looking at that. I don't really know that there's anything else to catch you up on. When I've said there really hasn't been much going on, I really mean there isn't much that's been going on. The most out of normal routine thing that has gone on is my husband and I took a trip with a couple of friends to New Hampshire. We spent a couple of nights in a tree house. I recommend, if you're a grown-up, this tree house was very well done, very well thought out. Yeah, and that was fun. But other than that, it has literally just been day-to-day, normal life. Do the laundry. Do the dishes. Clean up the dog hair. Like, you know, the normal stuff. So, if you'd like to, you can catch me up on what you've been up to down below. I would love, actually, to know what you're currently working on, or maybe you have like some dream knitting. Do you do a Christmas cast on? Normally around Christmas time, I have like a birthday cast on because my birthday is December 20th. So a couple of years ago, I did, what did I make? I made Deborah's gingerbread socks, which I love. And I wear the crap out of all my other handmade socks, but I am very gentle and delicate with those gingerbread socks. And if I wear them, it's only on my birthday. Those are my special birthday socks. And then last year, I purchased some linen quill from Pearl Soho in Pink Pop. And that was, the gift to myself was buying the yarn for that project. And so that ended up being the bright sweater that I knit later on. And I guess since December has arrived, or will arrive approximately 2 days from when I'm filming this, I could start thinking about what's a birthday project I would like to work on. I don't necessarily want to buy more yarn because I feel like I've got enough yarn here that I want to use the yarn that I have. So maybe think of